Hello, everybody. It is Kind Online Man here, and I'm going to be talking about my new system for self-evaluation. Currently in the community, we have a 1 through 9 looks scale, which also came to give us the 1 through 9 sexual market value scale. And these are really good. Obviously, they take care of the aspect of your face as well as how much money you make, how famous you are, how tall you are. But I wanted to take it a step further, and I wanted to simplify it a little bit because I think in this community we have a big problem with subcategories. And the problem with subcategories is they're not practical. And what do I mean by that? I don't mean that they're not important. Subcategories are extremely important if you're trying to figure out how close you are to technically ascending to the next tier and you're doing self-improvement with your face or with something else, right? However, when it comes to the differences in how people will treat you once you hit that new, subcategory above, it doesn't really matter. It's not practical. And for that reason, I am doing away with subcategories, and we will simply be relying upon a 1 through 6 range in order to measure each of these facets of life quality. So there are 5 that I want to include right now. I mean, this is a work in progress, of course. And the first one, obviously, being your face. Let's put a little face here. The second one being your height. So again, right now, we're not straying too far away from sexual market value. The next one being your environment or finances. So what kind of neighborhood do you live in? Do you have access to good education? Do you have access to good food? Stuff like that. So this is going to be your environment and financial situation. Next, we have D size, which is important for obviously sex, and then cognition. And I'm just going to put IQ here, but that's not entirely what I mean by cognition. Okay. So let's run through each of these. I'm going to quickly explain. Some of them are self-explanatory. So face, this is just your facial aesthetics in comparison to the rest of the population and how people will perceive you positively, negatively, neutrally, regardless. And then height, just how tall you are as a man. By the way, this is geared towards men. You could totally make a similar scale for women, but everything's going to be different. And then you have, again, I explained environment, finances, D size. This is your girth and length. And then what do I mean by cognition? Well, cognition as in the raw processing speeds you were endowed with, as well as any mental afflictions you suffer from. So this isn't just about your intelligence, your IQ. This is also about, do you suffer from anxiety, OCD, depression, NPD, narcissistic personality disorder? So this includes all of those things. And to be frank, a lot of you guys may be more intelligent than average, but you're going to score low on this because the drawbacks to having anxiety or depression are so substantial that they're going to cancel out any, one standard deviation above the average you have in IQ. Okay, so just to give an example, I am going to be self-evaluating here. Do I encourage self-evaluation? Yes, this is a fun thing to do. So anyways, so let's start with face. So let me explain. I scored around a 3 here. And this is within the average to slightly above average range for somebody's face. Whereas a 4 would be where you would start finding HTNs. 5, you would find your Chad lights. And 6 is where you would find your Chads. And again, I don't feel the need to differentiate between this idea of Chads versus PSL gods. It doesn't mean anything to me. Okay, so I scored around a 3. I consider myself to be above average, but not a 4. All right, height. For this, I scored a 4. I will put on screen the system I used to derive this number. But yeah, I'm 6 feet 1 inches tall barefoot. I fraud to 6'2". If I was like 6'3", 6'4", I would be a 5. And if I was anything above that, I would be a 6. All right. So money, finances, living situation. I live right next to my university. I have access to a home, plenty of healthy food, but I don't pull in that much money. For me, this is just average or slightly above average, comfortable. If you know D size, those who know me, those who don't, I scored a 5 on D size, very close to a 6, however. Intelligence and mental state. This one, I would have put myself at a 4. However, due to the anxiety, I had to put myself down here. I am also at a 3. And so, again, when you total your score, because we're going to have to total all of this, right? When we total our score, these are not all going to be weighed the same. So face is going to matter much more than this D size thing, right? In fact, D size is literally at the bottom when it comes to how we're going to weigh things. Whereas your cognition, again, I'm writing IQ, but that's not what I mean by this. Your cognition and mental state is what I mean, you know? Cognition, mental state, this is really high up there. As well as, you know, your face is pretty close, I would say. And again, we're talking about men here. And then your height, very important, right? And then finances, living situation would be just below. But again, still very important. You can be a very handsome man with decent intelligence, but if you live in unfortunate circumstances in a war-torn country, you're going to suffer, right? So this is still very important. It's just this is not very important, to be honest. This is like whatever. This only matters if you have this, and this, I would say. Mostly these two, though, because that's the only reason you're going to be slaying, right? So anyways, I don't have the exact percentages on how I want to weigh things. This is just kind of, again, this is all in one take. I had this idea last night, and you guys are going to tell me what you think. But anyways, if I were to just top of my head, average these out using imaginary percentages for how I want to weigh things. So let's say we have 3 3s, a 4 and a 5. I mean, this really comes out to, well, yeah, because this 5 is not really important again. So this really just comes out to like a 4, if not a 3. So this is like, and this is pretty accurate, I would say. This is kind of how I evaluate my life, is at a 4. I'm very content. And most days I'm happy. You know, I have a girlfriend. I have access to education. I have a good family unit around me. Have a lot of friends. Well, anyways, but yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. I hope you enjoyed. Hopefully this recording actually went through, and this was all in one take, so forgive me if I had some problems with explaining things. I just wanted to get this out there. I'm going to be posting this on my YouTube channel, so if this is your first time watching one of my videos, please subscribe, please like the video, and let me know if you want me to make any adjustments to this, if you want me to split up any of the categories into multiple categories, or, you know, like subcategories, which I know I said I was avoiding, but that's only for the rating system. But if you want me to split height into frame and muscles, then sure, you can ask me to do that. I'll think about it. If you wanted me to split this cognition, mental state into another thing, I don't know what it would be, then certainly, yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you.